Good afternoon, Year 3 Amber. I hope you've all had a lovely half term and spent lots of time relaxing and enjoying the sunshine. In today's maths lesson, we're going to be looking at elapsed time. So our LI for today is to look at elapsed time between o'clock and o'clock. Please pause the video whilst you copy this down. So let's talk about elapsed time. Elapsed time is the time from the beginning of an event to the end of an event. So it's the amount of time that passes between the beginning of an event, so between the beginning of something happening and the end of something happening. So, for example, if I took a train from London to Liverpool, so the train would leave the station at 1 o'clock and arrive in Liverpool at 3 o'clock. The elapsed time would be the time that I was on that train between 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock. If you don't understand quite yet, don't worry. I'll make it clear with some number lines and where we examine the elapsed time visually. So if you can copy down this definition of elapsed time so you can look back on it so you can understand in case you have any questions further throughout the lesson, that would be lovely. Please pause the video whilst you do that. Today's word problems will centre around our character Bradley. So our first question, which is going to be an example question, and I will take you through it, which will include our number line to calculate elapsed time, is if Bradley was playing with Lego at 12 o'clock and then he went to eat sausages and chips at 1 o'clock, how much time did he spend playing with Lego? Let's have a look on our number line. To repeat our question again, if Bradley started playing with Lego at 12 and ate sausages and chips at 1, how long was he playing for? So here I have my timeline. So what I'm going to do is draw an arrow between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock to show the elapsed time. So that whole elapsed time, because we're going between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock if we're doing the 12-hour clock, which is going from 1 o'clock to 12 o'clock, and that goes round again. So 1 o'clock is 1 hour away from 12 o'clock. So the time we have passed here is 1 hour. So 1 hour, so Bradley was playing with Lego for 1 hour before he ate his sausages and chips. So just to reiterate again, 12 o'clock started playing with the Lego, had lunch at 1 o'clock, 1 hour passed between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock. So that's where we drew our arrow. So our next 3 word problems will involve our character Bradley and his family going to Bournemouth Beach. So our first word problem is Bradley and his family set off in the car for Bournemouth Beach at 1 o'clock and they arrive at the beach at 3 o'clock. How much time passed when they were in the car? So to reiterate the question, Bradley and his family set off in the car for Bournemouth Beach at 1 o'clock and arrived at 3 o'clock. How long were they in the car for? Please copy out this time number line, so from 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Draw the arrows between 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock and see how many hours that Bradley and his family were in the car for. So please pause the video here whilst you do so. So let's draw the arrows between 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Right. So Bradley and his family were in the car for 2 hours. So that's quite a long drive. So the reason I got 2 hours was 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock is 1 hour. Then 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock is also 1 hour. Put those hours together, then you have 2 hours. They were in the car for 2 hours. So our next question in Bradley's adventures at Bournemouth Beach. Bradley was playing in the sea at 4 o'clock when his family decided to go for fish and chips at 7 o'clock. So how long was Bradley in the sea for? Let's find out again with our number line. So to reiterate our question again, Bradley was playing in the sea at 4 o'clock when his adults decided to get fish and chips at 7 o'clock. How long was he in the sea for? So on my number line here, I have 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock. So please draw arrows to each hour and see how many hours Bradley was in the sea. And pause the video here whilst you do so. So Bradley was in the sea from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. So 1 arrow, 2 arrow, 3 arrow. So Bradley was in the sea for 3 hours before his parents decided to get fish and chips. So if you've got 3 hours, that's absolutely great. So 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and then 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. So Bradley was in the sea for a total of 3 hours. So as Bradley's adventures at the beach come to an end, he and his adults get in the car and leave Bournemouth at 8 o'clock, and they get back to London at 11 o'clock. Let's see how much time has elapsed since getting in the car at 8 o'clock and arriving back in London at 11 o'clock. So here is what we call a clock face. So you see the hours on there and the minutes and the numbers. That's what we call a clock face. So as you can see, the little hand is at 3 o'clock and the big hand is close to 12 o'clock, meaning that it's now just gone 3 o'clock. So we're going to do some activities which involve drawing the big hands and the little hands on our clock faces, which are on the piece of paper, which I will demonstrate to you. Bradley and his adults got in the car at 8 and arrived back in London at 11. How long were they in the car? So please copy out this number line from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock. So please copy out this line with all the times, draw arrows between each hour, and then see how many hours you get. Please pause here whilst you do so. Right, so draw an arrow from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. So Bradley and his adults were in the car for a total of 3 hours. So these number lines give us an idea of elapsed time. So the arrows represent and show the elapsed time. So from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock when Bradley was playing with his Lego. From 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock when Bradley and his family were in the car for Bournemouth Beach. From 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock, the elapsed time when Bradley was playing in the sea. and the elapsed time from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock when Bradley and his adults were in the car going back to London. So the elapsed time was from the beginning of when Bradley was playing with his family in the car to when they arrived at Bournemouth Beach. So that time they had in the car was elapsed time. So how much time had elapsed between Bradley and his family setting off in the car and arriving at Bournemouth Beach. For our final task, we are going to be showing the start time of the events we did in our word problems on a clock face. So these are clock faces, these 4 clocks that you see in front of you. So the side with the numbers on it is a clock face. So we're going to be drawing for 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock, where the big hand of the clock and the little hand of the clock go for these following times. Please pause the video whilst you draw where the clock hands go for each one. So both the little hand and the big hand for 12 o'clock are both facing at 12, as when the minutes have reached an hour, the big hand goes to 12 o'clock for each of these times, and because it is 12 o'clock, the little hand goes to 12 o'clock too. For 1 o'clock, big hand's at 12, as it's a full hour, so 1 o'clock is another word for a full hour. And the little hand goes to 1. For 4 o'clock, as before, big hand goes to 12 and the little hand goes to 4, as it's 4 o'clock, and the little hand points to which hour it is, and the big hand points to 12 when it's on the hour. For 8 o'clock, as it's on the hour, big hand goes to 12, and the little hand, as it's 8 o'clock, goes to 8. So I hope you found this relatively straightforward. If not, please email your questions in, and I look forward to hearing from you. So please submit your work to grange.harrow.sch.uk, as well as any questions you may have about time, and I'll be very, very happy to answer them. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.